What the listener is about to hear is something I've never told anyone. Too heavy to share with friends. Too dangerous to admit to family. So I share it here anonymously. I ask those who want more untold stories to subscribe, to like, and to turn on notifications. Their support helps bring confessions like this to light. My name isn't important, but for the sake of the story, call me Claire. At 38, I carry a secret I kept in silence. I fell in love with the one man I was never supposed to. My brother-in-law, Daniel. I grew up in foster care. No parents, no relatives, only caseworkers, temporary bedrooms, rules that changed with every house. When I aged out, I carried a second-hand suitcase, a prepaid phone, and a diner job off the highway. That's where I met Mark. He was older, carelessly charming, the heir to real estate and a restaurant chain. He called me Red, a name born from the sunburn of my first shift. At first, I laughed off his flirtation. But he kept returning, persistent, relentless. For a girl rarely chosen, his attention felt like oxygen. One evening he drove me outside the city. He told me to trust him. His voice was low and warm, but his eyes were not. I said no. I asked him to stop. What stays with me are the sounds. A buckle, a zipper. Faint noises that still echo when rooms are too quiet. Afterward, I was not the same. Weeks later, I learned I was pregnant. Relief rose before panic. Maybe I finally had a family. Mark promised to take responsibility. There was a quick marriage. Promises that sounded like protection. I told myself it was love. It was not. He bragged about being with a pregnant woman. He had been a womanizer before me. With me, and after me. Perfume on shirts. Names slurred in his sleep. Messages I should never have seen. The night I found the videos and texts, the room spun. And I lost the baby. After that, our marriage became a locked room with no air. He still used my body. No kisses. No tenderness. Only taking. I didn't leave. Because leaving meant nothing. That small house key felt like more home than any place before. I told myself if I tried harder, if I endured longer, maybe one day he would love me. Every month I shrank a little more. One evening Mark came home with another woman. She was pregnant. He held her like something fragile. An expression I had never seen on his face for me. He said he was going to be a father. He asked me to let him go. In that word as I disappeared, I was replaced by their future. I walked out into the rain. No phone, no wallet, no plan. Only the sound of water on asphalt. Only my breath catching at the back of my throat. Headlights slowed beside me. A sedan door opened. My name was spoken. It was Daniel. Mark's older brother, a university professor. At family dinners he never mocked me. He would hand me a glass of water when the air grew too tight. He had never once spoken my name. Until that night. He placed his jacket over my shoulders. Warmth bled through my soaked blouse. He guided me into the car. At his apartment he set a towel in my hands. A glass of water on the table. He told me not to think. Not to explain. Only to rest. I curled beneath a blanket, trembling. For the first time in years I felt safe. Daniel began to share his life. The sleepless nights of PhD years. Conferences. The tenure clock. Then his marriage. It was not a grand romance. Rachel, a graduate school friend, confessed her feelings. Daniel thought comfort might grow into love. It didn't. Her affection turned into control. Every late night became a trial. Every trip became a wound. Their marriage ended not with shouting, but silence. He admitted she never trusted him, though he had never strayed. He was not bitter, only tired, scarred in a way that made me want to hold his hand. So I shared my secret. I told him I had grown up in foster care, that I had once been accepted to university but never went, because my guardians withheld my mail. By the time I found my scholarship letter, the deadline had passed. Daniel didn't pity me. He looked as if my story mattered. One day, while cleaning his study, I found a box. Receipts, letters, photographs, all with my name, the anonymous sponsor who had sent me gifts. It had been him. His voice came from the doorway. I had found it. Tears blurred the ink. I asked why he had never told me. He said he hadn't wanted me to feel I owed him. He only wanted me to be okay. The walls I'd built cracked. Gratitude, grief, and something deeper. His hand cupped my face. His thumb brushed away my tears. Our breaths mingled. He whispered he knew we shouldn't, but he couldn't hold it back anymore. When our lips met, the world fell quiet. After that night, we stopped pretending. Coffee in the mornings, groceries with one cart, evening walks where he switched sides to keep me from traffic. Every kindness ached with the realization this was what love should feel like. Then Daniel left for a conference. At the airport, he pressed my hand in both of his. He promised to return before I could miss him. But I already missed him. When I came back to his apartment, a woman waited. Polished, elegant, her gaze sharp. She introduced herself as Rachel, Daniel's ex-wife. She laid an envelope on the table. Inside, photos of us, laughing together, my head on his shoulder. Her smile was thin. She told me I was temporary, that he had always been hers. Then she slid the envelope closer. Cash peeked out. She told me to take it. If I stayed, she would send the photos to the university, the press. She asked if I wanted to be the reason his career ended. My throat burned. I said I didn't care about her money. I cared about him. Her eyes glittered. She told me to do what was best for him. Without his reputation, without his work, he would not survive. Her heels clicked against the tile as she left. And in the silence I knew she wasn't bluffing. That night, I packed. I left a note that read, "I'm sorry. Please don't look for me." Then I walked into the humming hallway light. My heart broke with every step. I fled to a coastal town. A place where salt wind erases your scent. Where strangers don't ask questions. A family-run diner offered room and board for double shifts. I scrubbed floors, balanced plates, learned to smile without falling apart inside. The owner didn't trust me at first, but I showed up early, stayed late. Months later, she softened. One night she asked about my past. I admitted I had grown up in foster care. I told her I used to walk past diners like this, imagining sitting inside. She went quiet. Then she told me to bring the kids from the group home. Dinner would be on her. I cried in the storage room hidden behind crates of syrup. That Saturday the diner rang with laughter. Children devoured burgers and fries. I was pouring milkshakes when the doorbell chimed. My name was spoken. I froze. I turned. Daniel stood in the doorway, his shoulders tense, his eyes searching like a drowning man. Later he told me he knew what Rachel had done. He had cut ties with her completely. When I disappeared, he called every number, searched every record, until a foster agency whispered the town's name. He crossed the diner slowly as if I might run. He asked why I had left without a word. My throat closed. I told him I couldn't let him lose everything because of me. His eyes were fierce wet. He said nothing meant anything without me. The children's chatter blurred as he pulled me into his arms. His heartbeat thundered against my cheek. For the first time in years, my body stopped bracing for impact. We stood until a boy tugged at my apron for more fries. Daniel laughed, a sound I felt more than heard. When our eyes met, there was no hiding left. We didn't know what the future would demand. We only knew we would face it together.